Hey everyone, I'm David Room. It's another late night stream working on my space combat game. I was working on this a little bit earlier today. I've got a bunch of ideas, some new stuff that I'm going to be working on in the coming weeks, but for today, just doing a little bit of cleanup. I started some refactoring a while back, just removing some kind of old dependencies from some things relating to how we're constructing the background scenery, like the skyboxes and stuff um, for actually pretty much all missions, but kind of specifically here for the simulation stuff. And we're gonna just continue that here. It's gonna be a pretty chill stream, at least in the beginning. I don't know how much there's gonna be to talk about, but I just thought I might as well stream as long as I'm doing this, see if anyone wants to hang out, and can listen to some White Bat audio. So I'm going to get this going. We're listening to Morning Mist here from White Bat, and let's just make sure we got the audio at a good setting here. Looks pretty good. And yeah, let's just get started. I shared a link on Twitter. Some interesting conversations and things going on Twitter today. There's always lots of ranting and raving about AI stuff, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to do some good old-fashioned programming for fun. And let me just make sure that yeah, okay, it looks like my screen is updating. Sometimes something happens with OBS where the screen doesn't update properly, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so yeah, the problem is that we have these functions that describe different background zones, kind of like a set of a skybox and different planets and things like that. And I'm removing some dependencies from these. And I think what we're going to try to do to just speed up the iteration of testing all these, we're going to build a test that instantiates all of them. So I already did this here. We're just going to get this out. So test whatever, and let's see here. We've got these. Let's see, where are we actually making the zones? Because these are the ones that I want to kill off. Yeah, okay, so... Okay, yeah. And these... we should be renaming here too, but... this is what we're refactoring here. We're getting rid of a bunch of the dependencies here. So we're gonna do something like this. Some of the logic in this has been a thorn in my side for a long time, and I finally figured out what the actual problem was, fixed a bunch of it, and knock this guy out. So let's try to run this This is obviously going to fail. Just as jerk missions. Oops. Jerk missions. Oh, I need to add an init. Yeah, okay. That's the error we're expecting to see. Yeah, so all of these things now are going to just take an LF. Actually, I'm just going to import this directly. Functions. Trying to try to figure out how to be a little bit quicker and briefer with some of this stuff. Bite off a bunch at once and then go from there. And these are going to be the same way, I think. Yeah, where we don't need anything here except this load functions. Load functions is a object that wraps the cache that the models are loaded into and stuff. And I had some logic where I had these sort of global model caches for certain things, and it was kind of obscuring what the real dependencies were in a lot of this stuff. And man, it's good to finally fix this. Oh, and look at this. This is the same thing. Now let's see, what is all of this crap? Okay, so yeah, now we should be able to go through and actually find all these places where this is passed through and just replace this with LF. Let's see here. Replace. Empty skybox. Yeah. Okay, now what else is going on? See, we're not using these things for anything other than the loader. So that's going to clear all that stuff up. Cool. And that's not used anymore. Okay. Now let's see if this test runs. It does. Look at that. Sweet. And that only takes a second to run, so that's fine, even though it's more like an integration test. Okay, let's now wire this stuff up into the simulator. So these are sort of designed to be different, like, sort of backgrounds or settings for simulator missions. And so update zone. Let's see here. Update zone size. Build zone, I think, is where we invoke these things. And here again, we have this base game nonsense, which we don't need anymore, because all we actually care about is LF. And we'll just import this directly again because I'm tired of typing state load. I need to use this in more places too. Yeah, now look at this. Actually, I wish we can do the same thing here, where probably wherever we're doing this, we can just replace it. Flow.set mode definitely needs it. Build zone, can replace it. Okay, so now build zone, or we're calling that, this is going to be game dot load functions. Actually, you know what? Let's try something here. Let me just try something here. I'm gonna see if this works. I never. Game. Yeah, and then if I do this, yeah, that works. Okay, cool. For some reason, I never ran into that forward reference thing enough to actually do it, but it really is just that simple, isn't it? Okay, so now we've got that. Now we don't need base anymore here. Let's see where else we have game as an argument. So update zone actually really only needs load functions. So we can, oh, actually, no, it doesn't. It needs shaders. Yeah, I've been trying to do better with updating comments. Need shaders. Okay, but we can get rid of base. Now let's see, update zone. Can simplify that. Now let's see, are there, we can get rid of that import. What else are we complaining about? This. I don't know why it's complaining about that. All right. Let's see if this works now when we run the simulator. Whoops. That was crazy. Why did it jump to full screen there? That's funny. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Should just be a couple little kinks. Yeah, now we can work all of this stuff out. So okay, now this is more skybox stuff here that I evidently didn't get. Yeah, okay, so this is worked out. It's just this planet skybox didn't get fixed yet. That's okay. Actually, I think we can just do our, whoops. So again. Function, some position, two makes. Yep. Okay. And then here is going to be the same thing, where we're replacing a bunch of these. Okay. Let's just get them. Okay, cool. We're definitely getting after the issues here. And we've got to fix this up. Functions. Oh, game is not. Oh, yeah. There we go. Just get rid of that. I sort that. All right, it runs. Will it launch? Yes. So we really have detangled some serious dependencies. Okay, cool. All right, so that was actually one of the main things that I wanted to do. Now let me just bring up some other stuff that I was thinking about looking at here. So there was a couple of other little simulator things that I wanted to do, which is in the simulation mode, give everybody a starting velocity, because it's a little awkward right now when you start up a simulator mission. You basically have these two opposing forces that are facing each other, and you're just sitting there. So I think we got to give some starting velocity to both sides, at least for the sake of the player. And then we should auto-target. We should auto-target the first enemy as well, even if it's just for testing purposes. So let's do that. Okay, so in simulator, I think there's a launch. Actually, we could just do this when I build the ships, right? I'm just reminding myself here how I can never remember. Yeah, there we go. So this will just give everybody this as a starting velocity. And I'm gonna just change this guy to ENT just for consistency. I was kind of getting away from calling things ships because they might not really be. Ships. Get that fixed. What's this faction? Faction info. I'm just trying to clean up this. Oh, this is a bunch of crap. Okay. Okay. This is a good white bat song. I gotta take note of this one. This one's called Solo. Solo, it's a good good name. Doing some solo coding here. Okay, let's see if we get the 200 meter per second or 100 meter per second launch that we're expecting. Yep. You can see here we're at 100 meters per second now. All right. Let's do that auto targeting. Let me remind myself how that works for the behavior tree, because I think we can probably target nearest enemy. I should be able to just trigger that control, right? Nearest enemy. Logic, find nearest hostile. And then if it's not none, set it for the player. Okay. Let me see how this works with the behavior trees. Let's see here. Find new target, I think happens trees. If it's not, if we don't have a valid target, we do this. I'm going to give the player a special auto-targeting thing that they can turn on and off. Should that be, that should probably actually just be in the HUD, right? Because that's kind of where this target lives, right? Or in the targeting UI, right? Target, no, that's all that. Where does the actual target? Target. Target is this, that's the target index. Target index. Oh, that's just the UID. Okay. And this actually, we're just going to make a target auto false. So basically, yeah, we're kind of repeating the auto-targeting behavior for the non-autopilot. Another pretty one. Okay, so I'm gonna just add something to the main game loop that let me check that. Maybe I'm thinking about this backwards. So here, target.targetable status active. I think I probably want to get this in there. Oh, here we go. pull the HUD target from the player behavior. So like if I have a valid Blackboard target, we're going to set the target here. I could kind of do this up here, like non-autopilot auto target. So basically this target is not none, target is targetable. We're repeating this here. Target is not non-targetable and active. So we can actually factor this out. Let's see. So this will just be def is target valid entity, and this is just going to be this part. So we'll return is target valid target, and I think this is the same logic, right? Entity, and this actually should just be out. Include this, right? It doesn't even have to be an actual entity. So if is target valid target. Yeah. Okay. So now we can use the same thing here. And really, actually, this should be target, because that's the purpose of it being optional. And let's see here. So where were we? We were back in the main game loop. So if not HUD.target, let's see, now it's game.HUDUI.target. Let's see here. Nodes.isTarget valid. So if it's not valid, then we want to go to the next valid target. Valid target. Logic. Game.HUDUI.target. Let's see here. Equals find nearest hostile. And this is just the player. Game.entities, paths, and if int one, but really I don't know if we really need that. Okay, so And we could actually send a message here. So we could say messages. Message. This will be nice. So this, and this will be a message from the Betty, and auto target. You can just say auto target. Oh, sweet. I had this cool system built in to do that's so this system built to do a Betty voice. I should see if I can get that working again because it's kind of cool. It is actually AI generated, and I'm kind of a little bit soured on using AI for stuff like this at this point, but it was cool. And it is a computer voice, so if there is something to use AI for, that might be it. Okay. Text. Okay, so now this shouldn't do anything now because I haven't turned it on by default, but so we should just verify we're not oh, it did actually. It did auto target. So if game dot HUD UI dot target auto and okay. And I was thinking about, could we have like a little text in here that says like auto so we know that auto targeting is turned on. That actually should be really easy to add. So let's do that, and then we'll also add a control to turn it on and off. But before we do that, actually launch the simulator. Player.HUDUI. Actually, no. Game.HUDUI. Target. It's true. Yep. Okay. That's cool. It's so bad. Something I need to really figure out here is I kind of added this physics capability, and it actually really makes the game not fun. It looks really cool when you're watching like a big capital ship blow up a bunch of fighters, but when you're a fighter, it's really not fun to be knocked into a spin by projectiles. So that's going to be a project for a time when I can think a little bit more carefully, is like, what's the energy, what's the momentum involved, what's a good way that I can avoid having things be frustrating. Okay. Should try to clean some of this stuff up too. Let's get that into the targeting MFD. Targeting. Let's see here. Weapon. Device. Text. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, the MFD stuff is here. So this will be nothing if oh, interesting. So we should see auto, yep. And if we could turn it off now, that should go away because that's getting updated every frame. So let's add a control now to turn off auto targeting. So target nearest enemy now. So if this is on, then if game.control state control.strafe mod is on, we're going to target. HUD-UI.target auto does not auto. And let me just check how I handle modifiers in the control. Overlays. Oh, nice. Donish X3 is here. He says, been so long. Donish X3 says, do you have Discord? I want to show you something. I don't have Discord that I'm sharing right now. Something to watch for in the future, though. Are you working on a project of some kind? Yeah, see, I don't have the ability to combine modifiers with stuff in these overlays. That's okay, though. I think I can remember. So we should be able to see this. So if I do shift and the target nearest, yeah, so I can turn that on and off. So like if I select nothing here, can I select nothing? Maybe I can't. That's okay. I think that takes care of what I want. Donish X3 asks, what are you using to code? Do you mean the language or the IDE or what? So I'm using, this is Python to code, and the IDE is PyCharm. Oh, this is wrong here. There we go. Okay. Like the software. I'm assuming you mean the IDE. So the development environment, like what I'm typing in. Yeah, it's PyCharm. Let's see if this still works. Gotta fix this. Yeah, VS Code or Zed or what software app? Yep. This is, yep, that's exactly, we're on the same page here. So this is PyCharm. I use VS Code and Zed actually in my day job. So I do a lot of AI coding and I like Zed for that. Zed is like one of the, like I don't really like VS Code. When I use VS Code, I use a lot of like plugins and stuff to make it like PyCharm. Zed, I was pretty impressed with, and it's a lot like PyCharm. Of all the editors that are not PyCharm that I've tried, I probably like Zed the best. There are some gotchas and things with it though that I don't like as much as PyCharm, so I'm not going to move away from PyCharm yet for everything. Plus, for this project, I'm not really using AI coding, so I don't need that functionality that Zed has. See, I could turn off the behavior here, and I could turn on auto-targeting like this, and I could kind of that's weird. Am I... Oh, yeah, because I'm not actually firing. It's funny. There we go. If I blow this one up, it should auto-target the next one. 3, yeah. Cool. Alright, that mostly does what I want. Donish X3 asks, how long till I finish the game? Who knows? This is a fun personal project. I'd like to think a couple of years, but I've also been working on it for a few years already, so it's hard to say. It really depends on other things in my life and how much priority those things take. So I have a busy day job. I have little kids that I like a lot, that take a lot of my time. So, and I have other hobbies and interests and stuff too. So it really depends. Oh, Donish X3 says years. Yes, the best projects take a long time. And I've been working on this for several years already. You can do a lot as an individual person if you're willing to spend a long time, like a long span of time on something. Even if you work on it just for a couple hours a week, an hour a day or something, you can accomplish a lot as a single person, but it does take years. I'm guessing you're younger than me, so when you start talking about years, that seems like a really long time. And to me, the past 10 years have really gone by quite fast. So working on something for a few years doesn't seem like a long time. It's kind of funny how life works like that. Okay, we have made some really good progress on this today. I'm just gonna take a couple notes over here for today, just so I don't forget what we did. And so we finished the Skybox simulator, refactor, etc. We added initial velocity and okay, this is a good question. So Donish X3 asks, how do you run your code? So this is a really good question. So with Python code, you have Python files, right? And some of the Python files are scripts or program entry points that you can run, and some of them are not. Actually, just one second. So you use the Python command to run a script, and there are different ways to run a script. So you can just say Python and the name of a Python file. There's also another way that you can do, which I almost always do which is using the -m command, which runs a Python script kind of using its module path. So I was launching my application using these different entry points that I have. This one is called DOW test. The game is called Depths of Woe, so that's what the DOW is. So when this script gets run, it hits this if name equals main, runs the main function, and that's how the game starts. So on the command line, I say python -m scripts.dow test and then I have a command line argument for which scenario that I want it to run, which it pulls out here. So like if I wanted to run mission 4, it would run that. And this probably needs to be fixed, so this is a good test here. Fix that, run it. Yeah. Mission 1, you know. Donish wonders if I will publish my game. Yeah, when it's oh yeah, that's nice. That's slick, the auto-targeting. When it's closer to done, I definitely will publish it. And I've got some ideas about how I might sort of publish demos of it for people who are interested, who follow my channel. And just as kind of like a beta. So stay tuned for that. If I get a chance, I'm going to work more on that. And Donish is wondering what I would publish it on. I would probably either just put it on like my own website, or I've got some ideas about how to publish it for like Buy Me a Coffee subscribers or Patreon subscribers or something like that. Or I would maybe do it on itch.io or something like that. People often ask, would I publish it on Steam, and the answer is probably not. But it all depends. We're a long ways away from that at this point. Okay. Let me just see what else I have left here. Is there other stuff that I was thinking? Those 2 things are done. I'm just looking at a list of stuff I have here off screen. Yeah, there's some other things here that I was gonna look at, but I think it's a little too late to do that tonight. I don't want to be up too late because I've been not getting enough sleep. But might just poke around here a little bit, see if there's any other low-hanging fruit I can get. Jupiter BJY is here. He says, long time no see. Were there a lot of changes? Yeah, so I don't think there were a ton of changes. I've been working on the simulator mode screen, which is kind of like a quick quick encounter battle mode, and I just did a couple of things with some little quality of life things today for that, like when you launch a mission, it auto targets enemies, it gives everybody a starting velocity. And then another thing that I was working on, which you can see here, and I can see some little bugs with here on Mac. I was working on this on Linux last time, is that the simulator hologram shows the engagement zone. So like when you select, depending on what you select, you get a nice view of the planet or moons or whatever, or it crashes if there aren't any. And that hologram orbit is the real orbit. So if like if we go here, right, that's actually Uranus. That's the same orbit and everything that you have here, right? So, and that's kind of the philosophy of my game, right? Is that if you have like these cool capabilities, like, hey, we're actually going to simulate gravity and planets and stuff, I should be able to kind of like mix and match and have those things show up different places. This is actually a giant pain to get this in here, and part of what I was doing tonight was kind of like refactoring things. Actually, let's, you know, one thing we could do that might be a quick thing to do tonight, or will more likely end in tears, is we could actually get this to update as I select different items there. I can see I've got some callback going there in the log. So yeah, actually, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I was refactoring stuff, is to make that easier. Yeah, that my problem is, so Jupiter BJY is right. He says, I roughly remember that orbit display being a pain to implement. Yeah, my problem is there's this code, there's a lot of big messes in it, right? And there's all of these weird edge cases with the shaders where it's like I'm just not in this every day enough to be able to debug these different issues. So like just random things happen where, okay, it's like I get it working, but then the shader isn't working like right. And here you can see too, there's like the alpha on the label isn't working. And I just forget that stuff, so it's always a pain. But it's pretty cool when it works. It's pretty cool when it works. I'd like to get some actual like ships and stuff in the hologram too. It'd be cool, like if you started, like when you started selecting these, it would show the different ships or something. And same here, like when you select the faction, it should update the faction image as it goes. That would be really cool. I'm proud of those faction symbols. That was one of those things that I just didn't like think to do forever, and it just adds so much flavor, and it wasn't that hard to do. They could be better, but and there's a couple of them that are missing, but Jupiter BJY says, kind of reminds me of COADE. I'm assuming that's Children of a Dead Earth, showing ship info and ship itself when we click engaged ship list and mission briefing. Yeah, and see, there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to do that, right? Like, I have all of these assets, and, you know, there's no reason why you can't visualize them, so that should be possible. There's always little gotchas, of course, but I mean, like, and that's kind of the beauty of this, is like you can have real ships and real things different places. Like this is an actual ship, and it's an entity in the game that's there, right? And when you do a free flight launch, you're there in that ship, right? It's just kind of fun. The FPS is a little low because I'm probably rendering a bunch of garbage still. It's kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, let's just, before we're done for the night, let's take a look at those callbacks in that menu and see if I can't update some of this stuff better now. So, because I think actually, let's just see what that log entry is. Yeah, Jupiter BJY says, you and 1 year later will deal with optimization feature first. Exactly. Exactly. Controls, yeah, it's just controls. That's too bad. It might not actually be that easy to do, but we'll see. Actually, here we go. Controls. Yeah, I went crazy with this. This was like 2 years ago that I wrote this stuff. And it was a giant mess. It still is a giant mess, but yeah, like how do I have this? These callbacks. This is just awful. Simulator handle event. So this is in the default mode. Otherwise, if we're in a modal. So this is where I want to set this stuff up, right? So like transitioning into zone stuff. Out of zone stuff. Handle, okay. But see, it seems like I should be able to do handle modal. Yeah, see, these should be able to do more than just accept or back events in the current modals. So like, do handle more. Control up or down. Yeah, scroll select. Okay, so we could have a accept func. We could have a. Here we go. So we have a. Scroll. Wait, scroll set. Yeah, this is. Yeah, so we can have a scroll. Let's see here. So we can just have this be a. We can just self func. So if it's up or down, then if self func is not none, then we'll call that with what? What do we want to call that with? Well, we want to know we'd want to know what item. Yeah, Jupiter BJY. It's for scrolling in the combo box. Yeah. And this is kind of like, it's kind of self-inflicted because I sort of wrote my own UI system here. But that's fine. Let's see here. This, I think we just need the index, right? Or maybe the widget itself, because accept func, yeah, it just takes nothing. So okay. So let's try this. Let's see here, handle modals. Let's try the faction one first. Yeah, making it yourself is fun. Update faction. Oh yeah, see, it's just the same thing. So update faction. It can just be the same. Can it just be the same thing? Yeah. Why not? This is just all a mess anyway, so. Okay, so we'll just okay. Yeah. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to update it because this is like permanently updating it. We're mutating the state here. Index faction. Actually, what we want is we want a back. Except I'll just control his back. So right now we update that state. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just the stupid mutable state stuff. This is so close to being like almost exactly what I want to do. Here's the problem, right? So if I wire this in, it's gonna work. But the problem is that which actually, you know, isn't maybe the worst thing. Oh, and that's laggy. That's off by 1 too. That's strange. Is it stays, well, I guess that's not the worst thing. Why is it off by 1 though? Is it scroll cell? That's strange. I guess I don't know why it's off by 1. Update faction. Faction sim. Oh. How awful. Friggin' disaster. You know, this isn't the worst. It just stays on whatever you put it on, whether you hit accept or back, which is fine, I guess. Okay, now let's do the same thing then with the other one. Okay, yeah, this is basically fine. We can just, if we want to, we can just do this with all of these. there's no distinction between accept and back. And actually, to really drive this home here, we could do this. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so optional callable. Control is accept. Accept is none. And then, yeah, see, this kind of makes it a little bit more clear that the behavior has changed from updating this stuff on accept to just updating it on select. Okay, so now let's see if I go in here. See, yeah, that gets updated there. If I go to zone size, that gets updated as I select. That's kind of cool. And then here, that gets updated. Okay, and that crashes. Oh yeah, Jupiter BJY points out using Control W. I use Control W all the time when I'm thinking of it. That logical, like, growing the selection is one of the things I really love about PyCharm. It's just so cool. When I first learned about that, I was pretty blown away. Okay, so this is cool. Yeah, so that pretty much solved, I think, why I went down this whole refactoring road to begin with, was to be able to get that kind of functionality where we can see this change just like that. And seeing that change is pretty cool too. I like that. I just need to have the ship show somewhere. Donishx3 says I'm coding where you put a letter and it replied. Not sure what you're talking about there. Okay, cool. Well, I hit a lot of stuff here. It's late for me, so I'm going to hit the sack. Call it a night here. But thanks everybody for hanging out. We got a lot done today with the refactoring and some nice little quality of life improvements for the simulator stuff. Selection. Oh, nice. Jupiter BJY says got to commit and push and jump into bed. Wish I joined stream earlier. Yeah, so is it, so yeah, 15:30. Yeah, it's like very late at night here. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, everybody who joined. It's always fun hanging out. Good to see everyone. And yeah, catch you later.